So, big opportunities to see for you. First one, Google My Business.
Yes.
So when you search Capano, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, photos. You get a bunch of other things, but when you click on Maps, you do have Capano Photography. Is this you?
That is me.
All
But
right.
you know what? I'd actually like to get rid of having my house on there because that's
Yeah.
not really my business. I couldn't find a way to do that. So that's.
So this may not be claimed yet. What I would do is log in and try to get access to this because
I think I did at one point, but anyway, because I
yeah.
put in the information. I don't remember how I did it.
And you can change the photos on here as well. So you can highlight different photos. I mean, it's going to take some pictures of other things with time, but you want to have an exterior shot. You take this. You're a photographer, so you've got this great amount of tools at your at your disposal.
Yeah.
So regularly maintain your Google My Business too is a great signal to just that you're active, and that Google will give you a little bit more priority. And then as well, I would start trickling in getting reviews for anybody you work with. So after you're done working with somebody, reach out to them afterwards and say, hey, if you enjoyed working with me, I'd really help us out if you reviewed us on Google My Business. And then you can also, if you go in here and like you'll see write a review. If you take this URL up here, copy it, and paste it into an email, and you can change it. You can make the text different, but the link go to this. It'll automatically take you to this, and then they can click. They can review right away. So reviews are great signal. Activity, another great signal. So that's the first big opportunity I see. The other thing I notice is when I check this, Capano didn't have its .ca. You have analytics set up, but it wasn't recording it.
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing. I just put the
Yeah, you have Tag Manager set up, which is kind of an advanced setup, but there's no code snippet in there setting up analytics. So you may want to talk to somebody. I know Kevin back here. He's just behind me. I can introduce you to him afterwards. He specializes in analytics. Somebody can help you kind of point you in the right direction. Because right now you have analytics set up, but it's not attributed to the account. So you're not tracking any information. So account setup, step one. Getting it on the site, step two. Beyond that, I would also look at Search Console. So Google Search Console is a great. It's a great way of. It's like analytics, but more for the search results. So you find out what you're ranking for, how many times you're showing up in those searches, how many times that leads to a click, what your average position is. So it's some insight that's free and it's available to you. So all the products I mentioned so far are free, other than probably having to hire somebody to help you with the analytics. Or if this a WordPress site? Okay, I was going to suggest going to the WordPress meetup because there's probably somebody there that can help you get it set up. No, that's fair.
I'll probably end up skipping WordPress. So I can use.
If you have Tag Manager set up, I'm sure that.
Set up too much, man. I just kind of like I was trying to do what
Yeah.
you asked last week, and I didn't know.
All right. Well, I would recommend the guy you just left with, Kevin. I don't want to introduce you to. Yeah. So I'll introduce you guys over email, and maybe you can talk to him because it's not a whole. It's a little bit of work on his end to do it, but getting somebody in there to help you get it set up right the first time and would be really helpful. Because if you can't track this information, you don't know what's performing. So this is your benchmark, right?
A couple of things on your site, and I tried a few different things. One was to put the file right on the site.
Yeah.
And I did that, and so that's one thing you see me, happy.
Okay.
Something there, but I guess that's not enough.
I couldn't tell you without being able to see kind of into it. Maybe we can log into it afterwards and take a look. Well, we could definitely run through it in a little bit here. No, that's all right. One other option I see, and this again would probably involve somebody else, is getting this switched over to a secure site.
It is a secure site. It is HTTPS. But, I get that.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. It'll work. The server itself has got that.
Okay. So you need to get this redirected though, because the main one is still available. So let's see which one gets actually referenced. No, the secure one is what ranks, but the HTTP exists. So this one is going to go HTTPS. That one's non-secure, but you got secure in
That's
here.
the mobile one's insecure?
Yeah. So there's some way to access the insecure one, but you can fix this with either canonical tags. So let's with canonical. So if we go back to, but this might be more of an evolved, might be something you want to bring somebody else in for. If we view source here and see if there is a canonical, there's no canonical setup. So what a canonical is um, there can be all kinds of variants of the URL for the same URL, and you only really want one variation. So what canonical does is say, this is the one. No matter what variant you landed on, this is the one we want to index. This is the one we want you to pay attention to. Yeah, the absolute way to do that is to have everything that is HTTP redirect to HTTPS, and yeah, which is something you'd want to involve a developer. And did you build this site, or is it built by somebody else? Okay.
I mean, it was a template, and I adapted it.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I misunderstood this, Michael. I was looking through all kinds of stuff on your site in the
Yeah.
last week, and all things like honey. If you have honey, that's right. Anyway, there was something I looked at that said, oh yeah, that if you're redirecting, you finally use range. This is more like anyway, man, I just totally.
I think that you can, like, done wrong, it can be an issue. But when you're trying to define, if you have two variants, two versions of a site, which you do right now, there's an HTTP version, HTTPS, then that might be that could be the problem.
Yeah, sure.
The
It might be Michael. One thing, maybe this is why there's two sites. In my main search to file structure, there's a
Okay.
that I still have some more stuff in there that needs to be cleaned up.
Maybe, yeah, I wouldn't know. Like that's something that not really. Like I can tell you what's wrong, this one looks to go to the secure. So everything's pointing to the secure version, which is great. But a redirect will confirm that there's no issue with there. So you can kind of ignore. I would say you have to go redirect from HTTP to HTTPS, and you do it across the board. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you can. Yeah. Oh, if you're comfortable in that, then go for it. Maybe research it a little bit beforehand, just so you have see somebody that it's done before. Always back up. So I think that's the general rule of things. But okay. Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of addresses in the book.
Yeah.
So some of them redirect one to
right.
The real site. But it's probably not a good idea from what I was reading.
Well, no, it's not a bad idea if it's done right. If you're doing it in kind of a sketchy way, where you're redirecting a bunch of stuff to stuff that doesn't exist, then it's people do sketchy stuff all the time. Anyway, they can try to game the system. Then, as far as like any errors, I ran your site through Moz just to see what comes up, and then as far as site crawl goes, no major issues. There's some metadata issues, and that is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're not critical, but resolving them is always beneficial. But none of them set off a red flag for me. What I would suggest focusing your efforts on is creating dedicated pages about your main service offerings. So the individual service offerings, like if Campano Photography is the brand, what are the offerings? So what are the services? So if 360 its own service, then I would create a page around like 360 photography. Exactly.
I'll probably go in a second. But yeah, I appreciate that. You have separate page for mapping and separate.
Totally. And what I would, yeah, what I would suggest you do is look up 360 photography, see who's ranking well, review those pages, try to come up with, look at what works well for the top result, and use that as a basis of how much content and kind of what level of content you want to do. And little candid. And then this is the real big kicker here. People also ask a great way to figure out what kind of other peripheral content. So if you want to start creating blog posts around what this main subject matter is, and then use them, push them through social media, use them to rank for these long tail keywords. So there's keywords that don't have as much search volume, but have a lot higher intent. So what people also ask, you get 4 questions to start with. I would stay away from maybe the cost ones might be interesting, but I would stay away from free because you're a paid service. But exploring like what's 360 photography. As you click on these ones, these are question ideas, but it starts breaking out more questions as well. So you can get some other options to think about what kind of content you can create to answer the questions that people are asking when they search this product to help push your service product. When I search 360 photography,
You
yeah,
got that list there?
yeah. So yeah, that's that. The questions asking. That's where I would start. I think getting Search Console set up and figuring out how analytics is set up, getting those redirects to redirect all the HTTP to HTTPS, so no one can find an HTTP URL, then you're good.
Well, maybe I'll just get rid of those somehow. Like it might be something structured.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
And yeah, any other questions?
Let me see. Oh yeah, I've got a good question for you. So the great advice that you gave me 4 years ago or so about putting stuff on Google Maps.
Yeah.
I'm using another Google address for those because I guess I have a bunch of addresses I should probably consolidate. So it's a different Gmail address that's got those. It has my name, like to say the casino in Nova Scotia. And there's a picture of mine from outside the casino that had over 100,000 hits. And but it doesn't go to Copano Photography. So should I transfer all those 85 pictures over to my Gmail account that's associated with
With your business? Yeah.
my business? Yeah.
I would say yes. I wouldn't know the process behind that, and that'd be something you have to look into and maybe reach out to Google support to figure out if it's possible. Yeah. If it's going to a broader like personal Gmail and you want to drive it to something that's more business related, then I would definitely go with that. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Cool.
that's great.